Hi, welcome to another episode of Storm Group TV. My name is Steve, and this is Dmitry.
Hi.
In a previous video, we talked with HomeAdvisor over the phone, and we had a terrible experience from the contractor's viewpoint. And so we were wondering, what is it like to work there? And I come from a phone center experience. I came from 5 years of collections. So you can probably guess that it wasn't the best environment. It's very money driven. And when I read some of the reviews from the employees, I start to hear the same things that I heard in the collection environment. So we did some investigation. We went to, we didn't have to go far. We went to Glassdoor.com, which is a website that reviews your experience as an employee. So when you're done with the job, you can go on there and leave a review. So we're going to be reading some of those today.
For the last 10 years, I actually have several experiences with the back in the day ServiceMagic and lately with the HomeAdvisor. We did it pretty much just to test the service about 6 months ago. We had a really hard time to cancel the service, and Steve was helping me to deal with them, started recording conversations, and actually after we did our last video, HomeAdvisor reached out to us and offered a refund of over $1,000 in exchange of us removing the video from YouTube. And we said, you know what, this is not acceptable. So we went back and we decided to find out the truth. We found over 200 reviews on Glassdoor.com from former employees. We're gonna read about 30 of them, and they're pretty consistent. And let's just
keep in mind, like, these are the employees' opinions. This is what they listed on the website. It's nothing that it's not our opinion or anything. But yeah, like you said, they're pretty consistent. So when you go over 200 reviews and you find consistency in the reviews, and you start to wonder, maybe this is the truth. So I want to start with this one. This one's called 7 Years Wasted. They renamed the company HomeAdvisor to distance themselves from the name ServiceMagic, which is pending hundreds of lawsuits, which I think we just joined up on that.
Yep.
Their profits are dependent upon lying to the contractors and homeowners about costs and pre-screening, and employees are encouraged to leave their ethics at the door. Management treats the employees like bad doggies that got into trash while the owner was away. No sense of job security. And so it says that they sandbag their criticism, meaning they hold everything up against you until they reach a time where the company's losing money, and they use that as a reason for termination.
Okay, I have one here saying lie to the contractors, the leads being quality leads. The company does not advertise that the contractor has to pay for the leads, so some people have no interest in getting an estimate. They just fill out information and the contractor has to pay for it. So, and I want to say, as a contractor, most contractors have no problem paying for the lead. Let's say you send me to the homeowner and I sell $10,000 job. I have no problem paying you $50, $100. I'll do it with a smile on my face. The problem is when you sell, dead leads, or leads when people don't even answer the phone calls. And this is what a lot of people are saying in here. I have another one. Target businesses, contractors that can little afford their services. Must supply a credit card to join. Sales is told to sell by revenue target. Leads pour into customer's account, credit card automatically charged. Customer has no recourse, sales reps fired for mispractice. They're rebranding several times only to engage same unethical business practices.
This one is called meat grinder environment with extremely high turnover and boiler room management. Now again, I came from an environment that you felt this same kind of stuff, where you felt like your job was on the line every day. If you didn't produce, then you're out the door, which to some extent is understandable. If you're in sales or collections, you have to bring in numbers. That's what you're there to do. But there's a ethical way to do it, and there's an unethical way to do it. There's a pro on this one. This one says, if you like free sodas, they have them here. We're seeing that as like the main pro that they
well, not sodas. They have a free beer.
Oh, and beer, yeah.
And
so,
drugs.
It says, you literally show up, cram yourself into a tiny little cubicle, and make calls to strangers all day about leads. I've never seen so many miserable people in my life.
I have a good one here. You're expected to call 150 plus people a day and sell them the first time you speak. If the contractors have legitimate reasons for not signing up, you need to push it for any ways. Don't have money right now? Well, borrow some. After initial training isn't much of training and more of criticizing. 90% of the contractors you will talk to have either been burned by Service Magic HomeAdvisor in the past or know someone who has. I have another one on technics. Those who are not favored, 90% of the employees spend their entire day cold calling a saturated list of contractors who are sick of hearing the company name. They suggest using shifty tactics to keep the contractors on the phone during the most uncomfortable and awkward phone calls. Should one actually pick up the phone? I cannot express how awful my time spent at this job was.
Most people are stressed out 24/7 about losing their jobs, and the upper management reminds you of it constantly. If you don't sell, you're fired. You have to lie to contractors and tell them what they want to hear and not what will actually benefit them. This is a terrible place to work now, and I would run far and fast. And we experienced that with them lying directly to us. When we were trying to cancel, they promised us a refund for leads that weren't even in our state. Why would we pay for someone, several states away? And then we got transferred, and we were talking to someone else, and I was in an environment where you took notes on every single call, and the person that accessed your file after you saw all of your notes. And so the next guy was like, nope, no refund.
Yep, happens many times. Steal from small businesses. Thieves can't sleep at night working here. And this is actually a former employee in 2016, so that's pretty new. And I would say that I've seen a lot of testimonials from contractors who said that they closed their bank accounts, changed phone numbers just because of the HomeAdvisor. I actually have seen one contractor saying he was out of business because of that. That's how bad it can be.
So this says doing illegal practices regarding customers' secure information. That's a big red flag. And then the floor, again, this one's mentioning, they actually mentioned it as a pro. You can drink and do drugs. And if you kiss up enough, you can do anything you want. Drugs everywhere, but then the cons, it says drugs everywhere, so maybe they have a limit there. Didn't too many drugs, I guess, for this guy. Drugs everywhere, sexual harassment overlooked, lies to contractors, managers favor reps that give them drugs. So,
well, we have one in here. Majority of new hires do not have sales background. They like to hire hooters, girls, and bartenders. If you are not friends with a manager and you do not drink every day and smoke marijuana, forget it. Lots of illegal drug activity in the parking lot and drugs being sold on the sales floor. No advancements unless you are buddies with the manager, meaning you're party with them. Managers are not exempt from selling and purchasing illegal drugs. I have seen my manager buy in the parking lot. No job security. If your sales drop, they will drop you. And again, this is Glassdoor.com, one of the leading website for reviews on the employer. And we're not trying to go to websites, where pissed customers, pissed contractors share their experiences. And this is current employee. This actually 2015. It says current employee online marketing consultant in Kansas. So everything verified by Glassdoor.com.
Now this one is just crazy. I actually titled it crazy. It's titled Brutal. This position taught me more about sales and how to have thick skin. That's listed as a pro, but I don't know if having thick skin from your management or from the customers that don't want to deal with you anymore. But the environment is very cutthroat. I had met my quota Yet I was told to get a sale by the end of the day or I was fired. They try to motivate you with fear, yet lack communication skills to help you succeed. The management is all very new and unfortunately not leadership quality. In my 16 weeks there, I was asked to lie to customers on several occasions. I was gossiped about by the management, and I witnessed extremely unprofessional behavior during mandatory happy hour in the office. Clothing being removed, sexual conduct, etc. It is a very stressful environment, and their turnover rate is insanely high. And then under advice to management, it says, train your management.
Good one. I have one here, another one on the drugs. Drug test would wipe out half of the current sales staff. Cons. Unethical and unprofessional work environment. Sales reps are encouraged to stretch the truth to get one call closes. Weekly training meetings, they will have you to listen to a call from a top rep. You hear people stretching the truth all the time, and managers running the meeting just say, stay away from using that term, try this one instead. And we've seen it again another side, so I'm kind of delighted to read this and to see, yes, there's people on the other side who actually agree, because when you talk to somebody on the phone, you're like, hey, you're lying to me. And we actually, last time when we called, we would be on the phone with the rep, and she would say, hey, I'm sorry, I cannot hear you. After you ask a question, she would like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll be right back. And she would go and talk to somebody and come back and change her stories.
All right, 3 quick short ones. Management has no experience, not professional, favors whoever they are sleeping with. I once received an evaluation that stated your integrity or your high integrity has probably resulted in lower sales numbers. My first day on the phones, I was asked specifically how to handle a situation, and I asked specifically how to handle a situation, and I was told point blank, just lie to them. Worst place I ever worked. Great place if you have no soul and love to rip off people.
Wow. I have one here stating that, and this is, let me see, this is 2015, so just a year old. I really think this is a terrible company for what they do to their clients. They lie to you to tell customers they're giving the leads, they're selling up to 3 other contractors in the area, and really it is much more, and they charge up to $60 for each lead. And we actually asked that question many times because nobody controlling how many leads they're selling. So they give you, we have contractors who saying they was charged for the same lead up to 4 times. One contractor said he received the lead and charged like $50-$60 and then did the job, and 2 weeks later received the same lead again and his charge got charged again. So if it's happening for the same contractor, how many they sending out? So now we're having employees saying that they do send more than 3 people. Stop telling people they're doing a good thing when you know that you're ripping blue-collar companies off.
Titled Monotonous and Frustrating Environment, Management is Demanding and Demeaning. The company says you are a sales consultant, which is not true if it is a numbers game and you have no authority to offer any incentives to the contractor. You're expected to make over 100 calls a day with at least 3 hours of talk time every day. You're expected to hit the company goals regardless of the market and or time of year, and those goals change on the company's need for cash. Wow. Management will let you work weekends but will not pay overtime. Now this is where it's starting to cross some of the employee laws and compensation laws. Management will let you work weekends but will not pay overtime. I have heard in meetings suggestions from management that we will not take breaks or eat lunch at your desk. We'll not take breaks, or to tell them to eat lunch at their desk so you can make more calls.
There's another one. You're taught and expected to bend and admit the truth. For example, you're expected to tell every prospect that there is a certain amount of leads available in their city, even though it's usually not true. Here's, says it all.
Yeah.
I have one here. I have been told on multiple occasions by management to lie to clients in order to get the sale, and that they will figure it out for themselves when they get through. And the sad part, once you sold it, once you're in a hook, you cannot cancel the service. It's been over 6 months, and we still just checked yesterday. Our account is still on pause.
When I say cancel and I tell them delete my account, and
It's
I can
impossible.
go on
Nope.
weeks later and still log in because we're seeing activity
Because
from
it's
our
on pause,
email
yeah.
and wondering why we're still getting emails. It's not getting canceled. They're waiting for us to change our mind, which is not going to happen.
Well, they're waiting to send you these emails again and charge your card again. That's what they wait.
Well,
that's,
right,
that's what
that
happens.
too.
And so this one continues. In 2015 alone, the compensation plan changed twice for the worse. Furthermore, the price of membership was changed 4 times with no increase in commission. It began at $80, then $120, $287, finally $348. That's what we paid. With my help desk, which may be a complete scam. And this is what we've been telling people. This is a scam, and this one's saying it's complete scam. So when we recorded a conversation that HomeAdvisor demands us to remove from YouTube, we're asking the question, hey, why are you charging us $127 for the homeowner who's not even picking up a phone? How do we know they're a real customer? And they told us it came from my help desk, and it was specifically to us, and they told us that that homeowner connected with us direct. And so that's why we're the only one who got the call, $127. I was persistent, and I finally got a hold of the homeowner, and he said HomeAdvisor sent them many leads, and I assumed that every single one of them would get $127. So according to this employee, they say this can be a scam, and I would say this is a scam, and we recorded a conversation where they say one thing, and then in reality, nobody knows how many people getting these leads. They can send to 10 people 127 and say, hey, this customer connected with you direct. And according to this review, he's being employee questioning their legitimacy.
Reps are responsible for customers who get bad leads and quit the service. This results in chargeback on commission. I think management thinks of every way possible to make sure a rep is not making more than budget, and there is a lot of expectations and favoritism displayed by management.
The customer service sorely lacking, and the leads get recycled. Run through Contractor like it is going out of style. Improve your product, make more of an emphasis on current customers instead of always trying to get new contractors constantly. This is what's happening with them. They go through, in our area, there's 2,000 roofing contractors, and they constantly get through. Average contractor, what we've seen, usually tries them for 2-3 weeks, get charged $2,000-$3,000. Have hard time canceling service, don't want to try it again. This is part of the 90% of people who try them and never, it just doesn't work. Many of contractors are not legit and just take customers' money. It is really sad, and I feel so guilty every day to be working for this company.
Very sad, depressed environment. Every person here hates their job and is in constant fear of losing it.
Leads are terrible, and if you can't sell on a phone, you might as well look the other direction because the management is awful, and if you can get 3 sales a week, you're booted out. Let's wrap it up. It goes on and on.
Yeah,
I have one I would like to.
I expected to see some bad employee reviews, but this is like overwhelming how many people are coming to Glassdoor, which I'd never even heard of before we started looking. So, people are looking for a way to review their employer because they're so mad when they leave.
Yep. And we've seen a lot of, if you go to websites like Better Business Bureau, we've seen guys in 2012-13 trying to get class action suits and going to Attorney General. Just like right now, we got a few emails asking us to join class action suit. There's thousands of pissed contractors, but seeing this, this is a really good ending, I would say, for this show today. Things have been better than ever over the last couple years. But it feels like we're heading in the wrong direction recently, and it was in 2013. And as far as I can concerned, it's still in the wrong direction.
Well, that was the start, apparently. And then we're 3 years down the road, and the rest of these were after this one. So it just
They don't
goes to
listen.
show.
It doesn't look like they listen. It doesn't look like they change in direction. So our job, what we decided to do, instead of fighting them, contractors are not organized. So there's 2,000 roofing companies in my city. There's a few thousand in almost every major city, and we're just not organized. We don't have a union. We don't have time to go and hire a lawyer and fight for $2,000 or $3,000. And companies like HomeAdvisor taking advantage of us, making millions of dollars, living lavish lifestyles. For me, it's
and this what's great about doing a video is that maybe back in the 90s where you had to rely on services like this to find your contractor, or the contractors had to rely on these services to find their leads. Now we can come directly to you. We can say like what our experience is from the other side of the table, and keep you informed on what we're finding against any kind of bad business that we're dealing with.
Well, let me ask you this: do you think contractors really need services like Service Magic or HomeAdvisor? Do we need a middleman to connect with the consumer?
No, and not as much as we used to. So.
Well, I think what consumers don't understand is if you're trying to Google, let's say, a roofing company in Minneapolis, like you would expect from Google to show you, top 10 companies. Well, the reality is HomeAdvisor always going to be on the first page of Google. Angesley is going to be on the first page of Google because they have millions to spend. So now, like, we want to be on this company's list because that's where consumers go.
We want to be the first, second, or third on top page of Google. And you said the other day, when you're trying to get to that top page of Google and then you have all these lead sources taking your place, it's like they're your competition.
They are. So when we pay, if you're a contractor and you pay in HomeAdvisor, you might as well pay Google Direct, because what HomeAdvisor does, that lead every 5 seconds they pretty much pay Google to be on the first page. So it costs you $5 per click or $10, whatever the cost is, to be on the first page of Google, but it costs you $100 per lead that gets to you and 5 other people. So paying $100 to HomeAdvisor, it's the most horrible decision you can make these days, because you're paying your competitor to find to go through it. You're paying your middleman instead of trying to target audience direct.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the video today. Trying to get a little more truth out there and use the tools that we have to reach directly to homeowners and other contractors. So we'll see you next time.
See you guys.